looking bread in my hand. This is called matzah. It's called the bread of affliction. And this is the special bread that we keep on our Seder table. And it's also what we eat all during Passover. And the reason why we eat it, I'll have to tell you a little bit more of the story of Passover to understand, is what happened is God sent Moses. Moses, tell Pharaoh, let my people go. And Pharaoh said, no, 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 I will not let them go. No, 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 I will not let them go. And so God said, listen, Pharaoh, through Moses, if you don't let my people go, I'm going to send down some terrible things on Egypt. And that's when the 10 plagues came. This story, by the way, is in the Torah, which is the first part of what Christians call the Old Testament. Yes. So the story that I'm telling you is actually found in the Old Testament. So Pharaoh said, I will not let the people go. And then came the plagues. And there was the plague of blood. All of the water turned to blood. They couldn't drink it. And the plague of darkness. And our teachers tell us it was so dark that if you put your hand in front of your face, it was so dark you couldn't see. That's how dark it was, that if you put your hand in front of your face, that you couldn't see. And there was the plague of frogs. There were frogs everywhere. And the plague of lice. People were itching, and wild beasts, and cattle disease. The cattle got sick, and boils. The Egyptians had boils all over. And the Egyptians kept going to Pharaoh and saying, Pharaoh, let them go already. We don't need them. We don't want these plagues. Let the slaves go. And Pharaoh kept saying, no, 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 I will not let them go. So finally we came to the 10th plague, which was the death of the firstborn. And that was when God killed all of the firstborn sons of Egypt. And when Pharaoh's own son was killed, that was when he said, I will let these people go. No, I don't think he understood that everyone should be free, that no one should be a slave at that point, but at least he was ready to let us go. And so that is when, yes.
Isn't some of it in the Bible too?
This is all in the Bible.
Yes.
Yep. In your Bible.
Yeah.
This story is in the Christian Bible. The Christian Bible and the Jewish Bible are very similar, except the Jewish Bible kind of stops halfway through. And then the Christian Bible keeps going. So we share much of the same writings, scriptures. The Old and the New. Exactly, exactly, exactly. And you know, many churches today have Seders because they look at it as part of their history as well. So we share much in common.
Because I used to go to the Jewish.
Did you go?
I lived in the Hill District and whatnot. There was quite a few.
Quite a few Jewish people there, yeah. And a lot of times we'll have non-Jewish people in our Seders because it's a time for learning and for being together. So finally, Pharaoh said, fine, get out of here. Well, I'll tell you that the Israelites weren't going to dilly-dally, right, at this point, because Pharaoh had changed his mind before. So we made the bread as fast as we could, but it didn't have time to rise. I'm not a big baker, but bread takes, I bet some of you are wonderful bakers. And so you know if bread takes time to rise, and the bread we didn't have time to allow our bread to rise. We wanted to run as fast as we could and get away. And certainly we were wise to do so, because as we were leaving, we got to the Sea of Reeds. There was the sea in front of us. And then, what do you think Pharaoh did? He changed his mind. He said, what? I let all my slaves go. Who's going to do all my work? Who's going to build all my cities? Who's going to build my pyramids? And so he sent his army out after the Israelites. So here we were as the Israelites. The sea was in front of us. The Egyptian army was behind us. Does anyone know what happened?
The sea got parted.
That's right. God said, Moses, lower your staff. Moses lowered the staff. The sea parted. The Israelites went through. And then the Egyptians thought, well, if they can go through it, hey, let's follow them. But what happened? They were killed. That's right. They were killed. The sea closed in and they were killed. Now, during our Seder, so you know we retell these plays Well, what we do is we take a little drop with our finger out for each of the 10 plagues, because our wine represents joy. And we say that our joy, our happiness is diminished because all of these Egyptians died. So we're not happy that people suffered. Obviously, Pharaoh needed that to convince him, but it still saddens us. And so we symbolically take from our cup of joy to remember those Egyptians that died. So we eat this matzah for 8 days. And I'll tell you, it tastes, and I have some for you. I'm gonna let everyone try it. It tastes pretty much like a very dry, stale cracker. So if you eat it plain, and if you've ever gotten communion, I hear it's pretty much like a wafer. So you may know what it tastes like. Now I'll tell you, it's not that tasty by itself, but if you put on some butter and some salt, or some cream cheese and jelly, it's very tasty. Our favorite way in our house is we fry it up with eggs and put a lot of syrup and jelly on it, and it tastes great. But I'm going to ask Connie, can I ask you, do you mind helping me distribute a piece to each person? I have here some mini crackers.